Galch doesn't have those things. He does not have those things. He doesn't have the grind. He doesn't have the defensive abilities necessarily. He doesn't have the effort. He's not the mold of a good depth player.
Galch was on waivers, and there were people saying, if you're a team looking for depth, that's a former 30-goal scorer. Where are you at, Steve, with Alex Galchenyuk and what he can bring to a team now? Because that 30-goal season is a long time ago.
It's such a long time ago, guys. Like this guy, he was traded. He was on the fourth line of the Ottawa Senators. What's the illusion here? When Wayne Simmons' goal scoring or 30 goal scoring dried up, and I hate using him as an example for everything. Okay, so to get rid of the Wayne Simmons example, let's say Corey Perry.
Okay.
Corey Perry, former league MVP. Mm-hmm. When his goal scoring dried up, or at least took a step back, there were other things he could do. Galch doesn't have those things. He does not have those things. He doesn't have the grind. He doesn't have the defensive abilities necessarily. He doesn't have the effort. He's not the mold of a good depth player. I agree that if you're a team looking for anything to maybe get you going, you maybe take a flyer on him or something. But at isn't he $1 million or 1.1?
Something like that.
It's a different year. Most of the years I say, yeah, you take that flyer, you don't even think about it. With every team losing money, you can't afford that.
In a normal year, you could take that money, try it for a couple weeks, and re-waive him. Right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And no one even did that. Mm-hmm. You know, and who knows? Like maybe he ends up being. I can see Alex Galchenyuk working on the Carolina Hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
I could actually see that working. They seem like the sort of team who would actually embrace him. The guy who's most intriguing to me, you know, we talked about the Leafs and how they're this skill team that doesn't have enough sandpaper. That's kind of the Hurricanes a little bit. And Paquette, that addition there is very good. Dzingel is a known kind of one-dimensional player. So it's a good deal for them. But to me, it's basically Dzingel for Paquette. Mm-hmm. And Galch is this take or leave it thing. It's such a shame because like we went to bat for him so hard with the Galchenyuk Domi trade. Yeah. And you know, people point out like, well, look how well Shea Weber's worked out for Montreal, and you guys ragged on Bergevin for the Subban thing. If you look at the context of the time, for crying out loud, and you know, and it's not Subban's fault he had an injury. Let's not forget that he immediately went to the Stanley Cup final after that trade. But Domi for Galchenyuk, that trade has sucked from the moment it happened.
Yeah.
And now it's Josh Anderson.
He won both those trades.
He won both.
Like easily.
Oh,
yeah.
Crushed.
And with Galchenyuk, like you keep looking at, okay, he's only 27 and he was third overall pick and he scored 30 goals for the most storied franchise in hockey. Like he can do this. But eventually it just comes to the point where you get too many shots at it and eventually your skill set now is barely a fourth line player. And like that's what it seems like the teams across the NHL have accepted. And that's kind of his role from here on out.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you know, you sign, you know, no offense, Sens fans, you know I'm telling the truth. You sign this deal with Ottawa, you sign with some bum team just to stay in the league, basically. If Carolina really wanted to, they could have some sort of sit-down conversation with him where they go, listen, you're not going to be an everyday player, but we do want you. We think you can be an important part. Put your head on straight, and we'll win a cup. Like, they could do that. And if they don't even use him, then we'll know he's done.
Hey, he might be starting after he clears waivers. He might be on the Chicago Wolves. You know, like that just might be it for the rest of the season.
Oof.
The AHL is going to happen, and that's
I think that's it at that point. I think you're going to the K or at that point. If you know, if you want to continue, I think that's pretty much. If you're not making the Sens lineup, and you know, again, I see every time someone goes on waivers, you guys think like it's like a little bit of a bit now. People are like tagging me in every waiver wire transaction, which is teams throwing shitty players on waivers. Not shitty. None of these guys are shitty players.
Yeah.
Replacement level players. Yeah. Replacement level players. And people going, what do you think? And there were people that actually were like, well, what about Galch? The Leafs should have a look at Galch. Listen, I would take Sam Bennett on a trade and Tyler Ennis on waivers before I'd even look at Galch's number. Like, it's not even close. Not even close. And it's like, if you're not, listen, I get that Galch was once a really promising player. He's no longer that. No
one's doing this with Yak. Like, no one's doing this with Yakupov.
Yeah, right?
That guy was first.
Big friggin' difference with him.
He's three times as good as Galch.
All right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Woo. Yeah.
Anyway, it's not there, folks. It's not there.
No, it is hard to watch, though. And I think it's fair to say this. It's hard to watch unfulfilled potential. It's sad. It hurts because you put yourself in those shoes and go, God, I hope that I'm doing everything I can. And Edge mentioned it, with the thing I am best at to maximize my potential, whatever that might be. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it was injuries. I don't know if it was attitude. I don't know if it was drive. I don't know. I don't have a close enough look at Galch's career to really know. This is a guy that should have been making Thomas Vanek money eventually. You know what I mean? He's a guy that should have signed a contract that was way too expensive on free agency and, performed somewhat under that, but, stuck around on the Detroit Red Wings for 3 extra years than he should have because they needed to fill roster spots. That should have been Galch. He should have had a couple of more 30-goal seasons. Somebody signed him to way too much money. He didn't play any defense, drove coach nuts, and bounced around. But that at least should have got to that level.
Hopefully,
at the very top end, he would have been a star. It's sad.
Hopefully, it's not unfulfilled potential and like this was actually the limit, because you never want to look back on a life and be like, what could have been. So hopefully for Galch, this was the ceiling, just for his sake.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So he's actually, oh God, that draft stinks. The 2012 draft, bud. It's not good enough.
Is it a bud?
It's a bust, not a bud. So Philip Forsberg leads the draft in scoring, 367 points in 473 games. That's a good career. That's pretty unremarkable for the best player in a draft or the highest scorer in the draft. Second is actually Galch, who's got 321 points, but in 557 games. Then it's, oh my God, it's Teuvo Teravainen is third.
Mm-hmm.
Again, good. Mm-hmm. Thomas Hertl is fourth. Again, good. Morgan Riley, picked 5th overall, is 5th as a defenseman. That's pretty good. Man, Brian Burke, when he said he'd pick him 1st overall, I think he nailed it. Just about right. And then, number 6 is Tanner Pearson, Jacob Trouba, Shane Gostisbehere, who's in and out of the lineup already, Tom Wilson, Hampus Lindholm, Chris Tierney's top 10. Dude, that draft stinks. And it's no... Oh, God.
You okay?
Yep. I accidentally pulled on the microphone when I was adjusting. Alex Galchenyuk made me do it. No, it's no insult to any of the players I just said, but top 10 in a draft.
All right. The top 3 out of that draft is probably what? Riley, Dumba. Trouba? I don't even know. Trouba. Yeah. Forsberg.
I don't know.
Forsberg had some good years.
Yeah. Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson probably goes top 5 if you're redrafting. That's not a great draft.
Oh, and it's just CeCe's in there.
Oh, first
Where
overall.
Is CeCe for games played?
Oh, he's probably number 1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's one of 5 guys to play over 500 games from that draft.
That's a good NHL career. No matter where it lands, Cody CeCe played 500 plus games.
And made millions of dollars doing it.
Yeah.
Cody CeCe, at the end of the day, the dude, he's played over 500 games. I think when you're picked 15th overall by a Canadian team, expectations just become ridiculous. But also, coaches playing him in the top 4 forever. I don't know. What a weird player. But he's having a good season with Pittsburgh. He's a half a point a game player. He's got 5 points in 10 games. This guy's great.
He'll come around.